South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
The Atlanta Braves are rolling, and this roster's on a mission to bring home their 7th straight division crown.
2-0, and he hits one high in the air towards deep right center, to the wall, and it ain't sticking around. It's a 3-run home run.
Tonight, the Braves are back in town, and Truist Park's open for business as the interleague battles continue with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Braves coverage starts at 6 o'clock. First pitch at 6:20 after the Afternoon Underdogs, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get ready.
Let's play the game.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
I just don't think that anybody's going to succeed in that system.
It's a bad organization.
It's just a bad organization.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Onion pickles, onions pickles.
Live and local.
Look, it's impressive.
On ESPN
Northwest Florida.
What is going on, Northwest Florida? You are now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick, Coach Brian Haddad in the building with us for the first hour today, and the Bone Crusher on the ones and twos. And this is your final opportunity today to win the 7-year send-off. 850-215-6290. Caveman Rick, what do you got to do to be entered into the grand prize drawing?
You have to listen for when we give you the sounder. You have to be the 10th caller, and then when you do call, we'll give you a little extra, like bonus prizes for entering, and then you got a chance to win some awesome tickets to go to a Braves game in September. I believe, was it the 6th?
Saturday, September 7th against the Toronto. You're good. Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah, that'll be a good game. The Braves did take on an AL East opponent yesterday, and they lost 2 of 3 games, the first 2 games of that series, but then got back in the win column yesterday against the Orioles 6-3, and they've got the Rays tonight. Zach Little be going for the Rays, and he'll be going up against Chris Sale going for the Bravos tonight, and that'll be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida right after the Afternoon Underdog. So the 7-year send-off, that is at 5:40, and it is your final opportunity. So make sure that you're calling in. Shout out to PCB Hobby, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and Home 2 Suites. Couple of local pieces of news here that you might want to take a part of. There's multiple Panama City organizations that are coming together to support local youth athletes. That's going to be tomorrow at Oakland Terrace, the clubhouse, from 9 to 11 a.m. They're doing one of those equipment giveaways. So, you know, if you know athletes out there who don't have some of the equipment that they need, pull up on them, man, and they will help you out, and it's all free. And also, and I remember back in the day, in high school and youth sports, all of that, you'd have to get your physical each year. Well, they're doing free sports physicals as well. That'll be from 9 to 11 a.m. If you want to make it a full day, I don't know if you'll be able to make it happen in time. Now, the 21st Callaway Children's Fishing Rodeo is going to be this Saturday as well at the Callaway Rec Center, the Rec Complex. Registration starts at 7 in the morning. Fishing starts at 8. The rodeo is for kids 16 and under. They're going to be giving out awards for whoever reels in the biggest fish and who has the furthest cast. The competition ends at 10 a.m. They'll be letting you fish for however long that you'd like, but the competition ends at 10 a.m. and then you could scurry over to Oakland Terrace at the clubhouse there to get your free sport physical and get you some equipment. You excited about that Callaway Fishing Rodeo?
Yeah, I got to work tomorrow. Be kind of cool to go. There again, too, my son's all grown, so we got grandkids, though.
Do you think you could outcast all of them?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, give me a little kid's rod and reel, and I think I'd probably win. But, hey, you got to learn, right?
There we go. How the Grinch stole Fishmas. Caveman Rick will tell you next Saturday. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till next year because you got to work on this Saturday. So.
Yeah.
There you go. 100 things to know about the NFL season. We are 83 days away. We're kind of looking at the MVP odds right now. Yesterday it was Josh Allen at plus 800. And then we kind of just got into the conversation on will he throw over under, not throw, will he amass over under 40 touchdowns? Combined. What you say under on that? What do you say, Brian?
I would say under as well, but he'll be, I would think 33 to 36 or so.
And this includes rushing touchdowns too.
No, I agree. I think still in there.
Yeah, no Stephon Diggs though. He's got a new rookie wide receiver. Running game hasn't always been there. He does have a propensity to throw a lot of turnovers, fumble the ball. So. There's always that.
We'll see about it, but the one that we're looking at today, Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud, plus 1,000. He won the Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. He has Stephon Diggs this year. He might make a little run at the MVP. Do you think there's a reality for C.J. Stroud, or are you seeing a sophomore slump for the quarterback for the Houston Texans?
Well, I think both things can be true. There is a reality.
Yeah.
Just because he's in a division that, isn't very strong. And so, they could get out to a good start. Obviously, he's got a lot of weapons to work with, a good young team that, probably will learn from, last year and build on that. Now, that being said, we've seen a lot of people who've had that great first year and then things don't go as right for them. And, he led a fairly charmed life last year.
Yeah.
Not a lot of adversity really hit him. So it'll be interesting to see if they get off kind of the way the Jags did, If they get off to kind of a little rough start or hit a little rough patch, how does that affect him? But we'll see. I would probably lean toward them doing a little bit like last year, kind of getting in as a wild card or maybe winning a weak division but I don't know that they advance past the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I see regression. I think
you see progression?
No, regression. Yeah,
okay.
I think no expectations last season. You had like rookie head coach and stuff too. A lot of new players. So being the fact that you didn't have those high of expectations, you go out playing a little free. Plus, not no tape really on him. Now there's a whole season's worth of tape for team coordinators to break him down a little bit more, find out some of his weaknesses. So I think you pair all that together. Plus, they're going to be a good measuring stick for a lot of teams when they play against them. They're going to want to see where they stand. I think they didn't have that last year as well, so all that's going to be a con against them.
Yeah.
I would say that the Colts defense and the Titans defense will be better than what they were last year, so that'll make that divisional run a little bit tougher. Not sure about the Jacksonville Jaguars on the defensive side of the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball, they spent some money yesterday with Trevor Lawrence, giving him a total of $275 million over 5 years, 142 of that being fully guaranteed. What do you make? They had to do this, right? Jacksonville Jaguars. There was no more waiting for Trevor Lawrence. Or do you think they gave him too much though?
Well, I think that's almost the market at this point. If you decide a guy's your guy, you're going to have to pay that to keep him. Otherwise, you're just playing the 5-year. Well, I guess it's really 4-year rookie game.
Yeah.
And I think they felt like they had their guy. I think Lawrence has shown that he can be a quarterback that can get you maybe into the playoffs. The problem with him is he takes a lot of hits. And, he was wearing out a little last year toward the end. So, I don't know. They need to protect him a little bit better, maybe spell him here and there. Maybe that's why they brought a guy like Mac Jones in. We'll see. But, I think they probably rightly decided, look, we've kind of got a guy we believe in, so we're going to have to pay him.
Yeah, that's the market. What are you going to do? If you wait longer, it's going to just go up, right? So, now it's a lot of money, but here, in a couple of years from now, it might end up being a bargain.
And who would you say gets the next deal? Bone Crusher, if you could hit that doorbell for me, my friend. So Jordan Love, Tua, Dak Prescott, which one of those guys gets the highest deal? Who gets the most money out of those three guys? I think it's going to be Dak Prescott, right? Because it's deal number 2.
I think Tua, actually. I think Dak, I mean, if they were going to give him that big, huge contract, I think they would have already done it. And now he's going into where he's going to have to play and he's going to have to prove it to get it. That's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see him, mounting up to the pressure. We haven't seen him do it any other time for any other reasons. I don't see why we're going to see that now out of him. So I think, no.
I think if Dak had taken them to the NFC Championship this year, maybe. But I think because they've already given him one, I don't think it's going to be bigger than Tua. Jordan Love, I would normally say, would get it, but Green Bay typically, I mean, I know they gave Rodgers a lot of money, but typically they don't go big like that. So Tua, I think, having had the year where he didn't have the concussions and he showed he could play a whole season, he's going to get the money.
The one thing I'll say about Love, though, they don't pay free agencies in Green Bay. He's one of their own that they drafted, and because of that, he might get broken off, and he might get a pretty decent payday, I think.
Oh, there you go. I mean, I think all three of those teams do end up holding on to their quarterback. Dak's got the highest chance of maybe not being a Dallas Cowboy. Jordan Love, Packers, as long as he has a decent season this year.
He's locked in.
I think Tua and the Dolphins, that's they're a good marriage, I would say, at this point in time. And then Dak Prescott, that's the question, right? Jerry Jones said that the Cowboys were going to have a great offseason, and they really just kind of sat on their hands. So we will see what goes on with the Dallas Cowboys, or which of these quarterbacks ends up getting the highest deal. Want to remind you guys that you can go to ESPNPC.com and go vote for the Best of Bay. We've got a little link up there. You just click on that. Go vote for the Coach James Hale Show, for the Inside Drive, or for the Afternoon Underdogs. And as a fourth option, representing ESPN Northwest Florida as well, Sam Peebles. So go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Best of Bay. Voting runs until June 24th, and we would appreciate all your support. We'll take a quick look at the Rocco Shot update. But first, real quick, got to see what the score is in Omaha there for the College World Series. North Carolina leading Virginia right now in the bottom of the ninth. No outs. North Carolina's up by 1 run, 3-2. Are you surprised by that?
Well, I was the one who said watch Virginia because they were kind of my team to go. But that being said, North Carolina was a very dangerous team to play right out of the gate. So it's not surprising. I'm just... I guess I'm just pulling for my pick at this point, kind of hoping Virginia goes through. But no, it's not shocking. North Carolina's a great ball team.
It's not. It is 3-2. So it's hard to interrupt you there. On the bottom here, it's got the live score, which is 3-2. And I'm sitting here like, wait, hold on. It says it's in the bottom of the ninth, and North Carolina is up, but the scoreboard up here on the live feed is 2-2. So North Carolina has won that game.
I was going to say, because North Carolina's the home team. Yeah, that makes sense. They did score in the bottom.
They still hit.
Wow. Yeah, they had a single RBI in the bottom of the ninth to win it. So I get it, but look, this is the craziest College World Series I've seen. I mean, really, to me, the only team I'd be a little surprised if they won right now is your pick, A&M, just because of the injuries that they have. But even that being said, this is a wide open College World Series.
And there's only 2 teams, I believe, that have won the College World Series before, right? I believe Florida and Virginia.
Florida. I'm trying to think if anyone else has.
I don't think Kentucky has. Has Tennessee ever won it before?
Not that I'm aware of.
So there you go. I know that... picking Texas A&M's one thing, but I really want to see Florida State, Link Jarrett. Link Jarrett was there with Notre Dame in 2022, but to see Florida State get it done, I think would be special for this area.
Florida State's been runner-up 3 times. The interesting thing was what Steve Barnes told us on Monday was that this could be the 5th consecutive SEC winner, and they would all be different.
Yeah.
That's amazing, just thinking of that. So, and you got a 50-50 shot. You got 4 teams from the SEC there. So,
who would you say the most fun team in the tournament is? I'd throw my vote towards Kentucky.
And NC State's kind of a fun team to watch.
Just like they were in basketball, right?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit different, but no, they're a fun team to watch. Florida can... Caglianone is a real fun guy to watch. I mean, they can do good things. I mean, I don't know. That's actually an interesting question. Tennessee is always fun to watch just because of the bravado they kind of carry, and that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But I don't know. It'll be interesting for sure. There's a lot of teams in Omaha that can score runs. That's for sure.
Yep, so the Jell-O Shot Challenge, one of my favorite things to keep my eyes on over there at the College World Series. Florida State 210, Virginia with 155. North Carolina leads the way. They're going to give it another update at 5 p.m. This update was from 4 hours ago. North Carolina leading the way at 506. Florida at 95, the only school under 100. Tennessee at 491. Texas A&M at 346. Kentucky at 361. And North Carolina State at 287. We'll give you another update on that in about an hour because I normally try to check out the updates. No
LSU this year though, so it's going to be hard to break any kind of records, right?
68,000.
No, that was wasn't like a fan or two that actually bought like.
That's just breakfast for LSU.
Yeah, that's just breakfast for LSU.
That's a normal day on the Bayou.
My goodness, though, yeah, because I was thinking the record is like 18,000, right? No, that was the record when Ole Miss set it a few years back. But here you are. Looking at 2024, I don't think anyone comes close to 68,000, though.
No, Tennessee's going to put some away, though, that's for sure. Because their fans are really excited to go this year.
But how long will they be there?
That's true.
That's true, too, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. 850-215-6290. Brian Haddad, Jimmy Farrow, and Monty are going to be talking about the clash at the Castle here at 420. This was interesting to me. We didn't even talk about this earlier today on the Inside Drive. But Cags, Jack Caglione, he's going to become the first college baseball player to sign an exclusive deal with Topps and Fanatics. This deal is going to have both trading cards and memorabilia. What's your thoughts on that? Is this huge, or is this going to be par for the course moving forward?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes.
No, it's a big deal. It's a little surprising it's this early because they don't do much with the athletes in college and baseball like they do with basketball and football. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Fanatics.
Right.
Now, they always pick them up in Bowman Draft, so come December, Cags would be in that product, so they would want to have him locked up by then anyway, so they just jumped the gun. That leads me to believe they're going to do something. They have this product called Topps Now that they do through their website where they can run basically overnight. They'll take a picture, run a card like that, and sell them. They'll probably do something with Cags through the World Series and through other things like that. Of course, you know, the nickname Jack Tani, I mean, they're going to be all over that. So it doesn't surprise me that it's him. It's a little early, but it's not shocking to me. It's a slightly different pivot from Fanatics.
There you go. So looking forward to seeing more college baseball players. Who's the next guy? Who's the next?
I don't know, but it's a market they should tap because college baseball is getting increasingly more popular and the players are better. I mean, you're seeing the draft now. Now the first round is dominated by college players. Right. It wasn't this way 10 years ago. So I would not be surprised to see Fanatics pivot some level of a college product because they already do that in football and basketball. This may be kind of them dipping their toe in that water and seeing what the interest is.
Do you think it's because like they missed out seeing what they could have done with like say Skeens last year and they were like, dang, we kind of missed out on that cash cow. We kind of got paid there.
I think so. I think they're seeing the rising ratings that revolve around college baseball in general, but certainly the College World Series. And look, Fanatics is a marketing juggernaut, and anything they can market, they're going to be all over. So I could easily see them stepping into that arena.
How about Scheffler? 74 today at the U.S. Open, slamming his driver and whatnot, in danger of missing the cut. Are you surprised by that? Go ahead, Rick.
Daddy blues, baby. The baby's probably keeping him awake at night, getting woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, screaming baby. You know, it's a change, right? So I'm sure that's got something to do with it, or probably a lot to do with it. You know, his whole routine's probably thrown out of whack.
Yeah, I mean, his routine's going to jail and then going to the course.
Everything's out of whack.
The U.S. Open can make the best golfers in the world look mortal. So it doesn't surprise me so much that it's happening in the U.S. Open. But, you know, I mean, I would have thought he'd done a little bit better, but, you know, it's not like he shot 82, so.
Yeah, there is that, right? He's not shooting 82, just a high 74 there. Yeah. And, I mean, it's still surprising.
Pinehurst's a tough course.
Yeah.
I mean, they described like you're landing like on a bowl, basically, turned upside down. So imagine that, and then the ball rolling all over the place. So,
and you see them taking videos of just dropping the ball on the green, and it rolls whichever way.
To be honest, the USGA is infamous, I'm going to say, for messing with a course. And quite frankly, I mean, they've ruined some courses. What they've done with Shinnecock Hills is criminal in the way that they treated that course, to where they had to come out and spray the greens down between groups because they had done it so badly and put a pin in such a bad spot and cut it so tight. So I think they get ahead of themselves sometimes, which is a shame, because they take away the natural beauty and difficulty of a golf course when they try and overplay their hand.
Why don't they just mess with the equipment and make more restrictions on the equipment to make it where, it's a little bit more difficult on the golfer instead of changing the courses and stuff? It'd probably be a lot cheaper too in the long run.
Yeah.
So instead of the oversized head drivers, you could go. They
can do a million things. The reason they won't do that is because of the money and the investment that the companies are putting in. But what they do with the rough, I'm okay with. What they do with the greens, I don't like. It gets ridiculous. They've done it. They've had real problems at Olympic Club in the past, where literally if you missed a putt, by 6 inches past the cup, it was 40 feet down the hill. That's dumb. I mean, that's Caddyshack too.
Right. That's why I've always like an idea if they had a tour where kind of it'd be NASCAR, where everybody's on par. You're using the exact same equipment. Now, maybe club lengths can be different because of height and whatnot, and grips, but you're using it made out of the same materials, the same everything else. And then that's all about now who really is the best golfer, not about which equipment you have that you're using.
There are a lot of people who wonder how much better Tiger Woods would have been, because the thought was he was using inferior equipment for most of that time.
Right.
And that's amazing to think of.
Technology took down Tiger Woods.
Or if you think about guys
when his wife swung it at him,
messed up his teeth. If you think about a guy like Jack, all the majors he won, and they're using still wooden clubs basically, and not the stuff that they're using today. So it's a lot more impressive. You got to say.
Right.
What's that called?
Persimmon.
Persimmon. There you go. Learn that from the Inside Drive.
It's also a weird tasting fruit. If you ever had a persimmon.
I've never had a persimmon.
I used to work at a produce department, so I have to try it all.
There you go. All right, you guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to break for a few moments, and we'll be right back. It'll be Coach Brian Haddad, Jimmy Farrow, and Monty talking Clash at the Castle.
ESPN Northwest Florida, available on all your devices.
Connected.
Here are your favorite sports talk hosts.
The Coach James Hale Show. You're listening to the Inside Drive live.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
And your favorite teams.
Braves win it!
We're live on the app. Tune in, Alexa, ESPNPC.com, Facebook, YouTube, and in your car at 101.9 and 104.3. Wherever you go, there we are. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon, this is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Friday. Sunshine the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze around 9 miles per hour coming out of the south, and look for it to be 93. Tonight there will be clear skies with the temperature reaching 78. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 92. Sunday will have a high of 90 and some sun in the morning, followed by a chance of thunderstorms. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover the new Kia during the Summer Sticker Sales event going on now at Bill Bird Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Now enjoy the view this summer because the road is yours in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/8/24.
Atlanta Braves fans, listen weekdays at 7:40, 12:40, and 5:40. Your chance to qualify to win the Atlanta Braves 7 years send-off from ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
And we are back. This is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. You're listening on 104.3 if you're in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. Coach Brian Haddad, Jimmy Farrow, Bone Crusher on the ones and twos, and we'll let Coach Brian introduce our next guest. Want to remind you guys, though, here in about an hour and 17 minutes, we are going to be giving you your final opportunity for the 7-year send-off. All you got to do is call the number 850-215-6290 and be caller number 10 when we give you the cue to call. Clash at the Castle WWE event coming up in Scotland this weekend. So, Coach, I'm going to hand it off to you and just kind of listen and participate here.
Well, when it's premium live event time, it's not pay-per-view anymore.
Yeah, that's
premium live event. They got it. It's
PPM.
Hospitals or medical facilities and all of this nonsense. We'll play the games, but we always like to have these guys in. They run the absolute best show out there. Cablevision, Facebook, YouTube, Monty and the Pharaoh. You can check them out every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. in that New York time. So let's talk to the guys here. We've got Jimmy Farrow sitting to my left. How are you, brother?
Hey, yo.
And Mike Monty. Monty, how you doing up there, brother?
Hey, yo.
What's up? Oh, my goodness. Well, guys, obviously great stuff last night. Let's start with that. Just talk a little bit about, how y'all got started in your show and some of the guests you've had recently and what we've got coming up here.
Well, we go back to we met in junior high school to recap, history, revisionist history at this point, but hey, it's still history. We hit it off back then. Our friendship was formed on professional wrestling. Many years go by. Mike winds up in the military. I wind up as a lead singer in a rock and roll band, so obviously we take different paths, but somehow we find each other again, and Mike was getting involved in the wrestling podcasting business, and we started talking. The next thing you know, we've got a show. A few years later, we've got a resume that includes over 100 WWE Hall of Famers on it. Yeah. So that's basically the short story to the long journey, right, Mike?
Can't say it any better than that, Jimmy. Can't say it any better.
Well, I'm on today.
Well, it's one of those things, guys, where not only do you have all the current and retired things, but I watched the other night, I saw you guys have a spirit box. You were actually calling in the spirits of Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Brother.
It's a highly entertaining show, guys. You need to go check out the YouTube library and check them out on Thursdays. Well, let's get to it here, guys. Clash at the Castle, WWE's latest premium live event. Guys, this is the third consecutive, I didn't even realize this. This is the third consecutive premium live event that's on foreign soil. Because we had the one in France, Backlash, then we had the King and Queen of the Ring over in Saudi Arabia, and now we're going to be in Glasgow, Scotland for the Clash at the Castle. Now, they did this last year in Wales, so obviously they're getting huge crowds, huge turnouts, a lot of excitement because these are places that don't get WWE on the regular. But what do you think about having 3 in a row there? Is it something they should maybe every other, every third? Are they going to the well too often, or what do you guys think about this?
No. It's fine right now. I don't think that it's certainly not going to hurt. It's certainly not going to hurt the American attendance. It's not affecting television ratings in any negative way. Right. The house shows still sell out. Look, they're a machine, and what they're doing right now is absolutely fine. Are you still singing the AJ Styles song? I'm wondering.
La 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 la.
There you go.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. So I really don't think it's doing any damage at all. As a matter of fact, it's kind of like the middle finger to AEW. Like, oh yeah, you did England once. Ha ha. Yeah. Watch this. If you understand what I'm saying, Mike, what do you think about that?
I think they're doing great business, and it's a smart thing to do. This is truly worldwide wrestling. Unlike where they used to say it in the past, like they're the world champion. These guys are truly world champions. They're traveling the world.
Yep.
And they're making incredible business. And I think I said to Jimmy the other night, I have to apologize. Cody Rhodes has pulled it off. I don't know how. Yep. I don't know why, but he's pulled it off.
Greatest face since Bob Backlund. I know that makes you nauseous, but I really believe that. I think he's the greatest face champion with the suit and the way he represents. All the parents can turn to their little kids and say, "Here's your role model." It's sickening, isn't it, Mike, for us rooters of the heel? But he's a great face champion so far.
Agreed, Jimmy. Agreed.
He sounds sick.
I feel the same way.
Me too.
I didn't see it.
Me too.
I thought we would already be sick of Cody. I really did.
Right.
I thought it would have already happened. But hey, they're doing a good job. Kind of in conjunction with doing these events overseas, obviously the time changes. Now, for years, we would, be used to pay-per-views being Sunday nights. And so that was kind of rough because you had to go to, work the next morning or something like that. Not for you rock and roll stars, obviously, but you had to do that. Then they moved them to Saturdays. Obviously, the big show like WrestleMania has 2 nights. But when you run these overseas, they're running them at I think this one, the actual show starts at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a different time, but I wonder y'all's take, now that the shows are on Peacock, and they're available, on demand, does it matter that much anymore when they're actually airing live or anything like? I mean, obviously you have to avoid spoilers, but what do you think about that notion of it being earlier in the day, which would normally drive down the buys, but since you're on Peacock, maybe that doesn't matter anymore?
Mike, take this one over because I know I feel exactly like you do.
I got to say, Coach, first of all, great question, and here's my answer. The WWE, after losing Roman Reigns and him losing the title, has not become must-see pay-per-view, PLE, or TV. So to answer your question, you can catch it anytime you like because you know what the results are going to be. They had a champion. Again, they had a champion before where it was must-see title defense. You didn't want to catch it on replay. All this stuff, forget about it. And to be honest with you, at our age, at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm not watching it during the summer. No thanks. Not really worth my time.
And to hammer home the point, he's so right about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns' programs, no matter who he was matched up against, you always did have that shadow of the doubt in your mind. Is he going to get past this? Is he going to lose the title? And then when the match itself would happen, there were several moments in the match where you'd go, oh my God, is this the moment? He's had the belt for so long. Is he going to lose to this guy? I don't feel that way with Cody Rhodes' title defenses so far. I feel like I know Cody Rhodes is going to win, and we'll get to his match at Clash a little bit later.
Yeah, I think with the bigger champions, there's always an element of that on these. It's weird to call them smaller premium live events, but they are. We have the Grand Slam now, basically the way we do in other sports. You've got WrestleMania, obviously, is the granddaddy of them all, but then you've got the Royal Rumble, you've got SummerSlam and Survivor Series are kind of known as the Big Four. Right. And then the others through there, it's really rare you're going to get a major title change during those times. So I get that. Speaking about that, these shows have been, other than WrestleMania, obviously, is 2 days. There's talk of SummerSlam going to 2 days going forward, I believe, next year. These new shows, what WWE's doing, I really like. 5 matches, less than 3 hours. You talked earlier about the middle finger to AEW, which seems like it goes on for 4 or 5 days. Right. It's an interesting way. Do you guys like that, especially for these? It's a much more... It's a show you can kind of watch and not feel like you've spent your entire day on it.
It's compact. It's excellent. 5 matches is great. I don't want to sit there and watch 14 matches. I love wrestling matches. The people who are like trying to get into wrestling, having to sit through 12, 13, 14 matches with lousy matchups because you put 10 pounds of poop in a 1 pound bag. No, absolutely not. No, this is like get in, get out. 5 matches is great. Give me like 2.5 hours. Almost sounds like the old running times for baseball games. I don't know if they've gone back to that 2.5 hours.
It's gotten back,
but that's about all I can tolerate. I don't want to sit there and watch 3.5, 4 hours of 2-0. So I think that the compact approach works great. Mike, what do you think about the 5-match card?
I think what the WWE is doing well now, they went kind of backwards. They're giving every wrestler storyline, and having these overseas pay-per-views or these multiple premium live events, is allowing these other wrestlers to tell their story.
Awesome.
So they've done a really good job with this. Everybody has a story now, and everybody can finish their story. And, like, for example, hottest storyline going on, Liv and Dom, right? You got Liv and Dom going on. Everybody's waiting for that, but you've got all this other stuff circling around, right?
Right.
In a way, kind of piggybacking off what I was talking about on the lead up to that question, does having these be more compact 5-match cards kind of separate themselves and make the bigger shows bigger in their mind?
They absolutely do, through the process itself of allowing these other shows to develop characters further.
Right. That's right.
Look at Piper Niven. Piper Niven's got a spot this weekend. Would she have this normally if we were log jamming? Probably not.
Right.
So I think that the adding of these bang bang shows allows more character development and allows the main pay-per-views to have even better storylines for everybody involved. You're really checking off everything here when you do it that way.
And the main pay-per-view kind of closes the story. It ends the movie.
Right.
So you've got all these different stories going on. It all, it comes to an ending at a SummerSlam, at a Royal Rumble, at a WrestleMania.
Correct.
What I want to pivot real quickly, and then we're going to get into predictions, in a little bit on the.
I make observations. I don't make predictions.
I'm curious.
God, I hate that word. I hate it so much.
I know.
What do you think's going to happen on The Sopranos this week? And if you guess wrong, you're a loser.
On the scripted show.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't.
So I guess we probably alluded to it a little bit. Mike and I are very surprised that Cody's kind of held on okay, better than we thought. But let's say outside of that, what has been, I don't know the right way to phrase this, maybe, what has been the best surprise or the thing that maybe you didn't see coming since WrestleMania that's gone on in the WWE? Like, what have you been really pleased with in terms of what you've seen since April?
A couple of things jump right away into my mind. I love to see the ascension of Chad Gable being allowed to show his talents. Chad Gable is excellent.
Yeah.
He really is. What an irritating bad guy he makes. You really do want to choke him, and that's what you want to do with a bad guy.
Right.
He really reeks of it. I mean, I love bad guys, but I'm begging for Otis to smack him already.
Yeah.
I'm like, my God, smack him already. And that's not my norm. I'll usually just root for the heel, even if he's lighting your house on fire. So basically, that's been a huge surprise. I'm thrilled with seeing Braun Breaker doing what he's doing, just annihilating everybody. He's a Steiner, and like Mike said, Steiners are not usually paired up with women, so I guess we can't really, wait for the evil woman to be at Steiner's side. So Mike's got a point there that he talked about this week on his show. But I also love Drago very much.
Oh, yeah.
Very much. And I'm hoping that they are part of the future plan that they seem to be planting the seeds for right now. So that's been a couple of things. Gable, Breaker, and Drago have all been really nice to see getting some time. How about you, Mikey?
Biggest surprise to me is that the machine keeps running. I really expected to see a downturn and some more complaining, but they've just done a fantastic job all the way around. So that's my biggest surprise. I really, like you, Coach, I thought once that belt got around Cody, after a couple of months, it was just going to, drain the swamp, and it was all over, and it seems not to be the case.
What does that say about Cody Rhodes, by the way? I know it makes you guys probably ill to give him some compliments, but what does that say about Cody Rhodes as a face, as a champion?
Well, if you're asking me, I say it says more about the WWE. Let's not forget, Cody Rhodes was at AEW before. He was unable to carry that company.
Right.
So I give credit to Cody, don't get me wrong, but I give credit to the storyline and what the WWE put into Cody Rhodes. They were smart enough to realize not to let him win WrestleMania 39.
Right.
They knew they needed some extra time. And wherever all these Cody fans are flipping out, I give all the credit in the world to whoever is writing the storylines, whether it be Vince McMahon in the beginning, to Triple H now, to Shawn Michaels. I have no idea. Much credit to Cody Rhodes, don't get me wrong, but more credit to the WWE and to the machine that they built. They built a champion, and a champion. Jimmy, we talked about it yesterday. Cody Rhodes' T-shirts are not in top wrestling shirts, it's in top sports shirts. It's like number 5.
How you like them apples?
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, and you know what else is it? What does it say about the doofus fan base over in AEW and the bigger doofuses that write the scripts over there that Cody couldn't get over in a company he founded?
Yeah.
What does that say about that? You know, it tells you that the WWE scripters know what they're doing, and they have a game plan, and they think long term. And it also shows you that the WWE audience is not looking for you to just break your neck every match. Well, if you give us a good storyline and you're a good wrestler, they'll absorb it.
But that's a wonderful point, because it's the ADD nature over there that they just wanted him to turn so that he turned, and 2 weeks later they'd want him to turn back and all like this. This is good long-term storytelling at its finest, because Cody Rhodes is essentially portraying the same character.
Right.
But with better writing, better planning, obviously it's done. I would say, for me, the thing that has been the most welcome surprise is every year after WrestleMania, they elevate people from NXT. And every year it seems like they waste them. The way they have integrated the people up this time has been wonderful.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about Breaker. Breaker was going to be good regardless, but I think the way that they brought Dragunov in, because I was really worried about that, has been excellent. The way that they brought Lyra Valkyria in was super surprising. They're really doing a good job bringing the next generation along. And they're integrating them to where they don't have to come in and beat everybody every time, but they're putting them in the right situations for them to succeed.
Right.
That has been wonderful to
So you're
watch.
saying that Karrion Kross has terrible timing?
Pretty much, yeah, I think so.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. That was some NXT package that they wound up not doing anything with. Oh, well. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so do you have anything you want to throw in there, Dave? Because we've got the observations portion coming up.
The observations. By the way, Dave, are you nervous? You have a caveman, a pharaoh, and a bone crusher within a few feet of you. I mean,
I got a coach in here to keep me on top of everything. I'll just swim away from danger.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
We are at the beach. Just do the backstroke.
Actually, I'm looking up some WWE trivia questions. So we'll make our trivia
we
question.
Definitely do that.
Well, we'll have trivia for our listeners today. Be a WWE trivia question. So I'll get you some takes from you guys on what the question should be. But you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. More from Coach Brian, Monty, and Pharaoh here when we get back on what's going on at the Clash at the Castle. We'll be right back. Hey, if you have any questions for them, text them to us, 850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida is celebrating 7 years of broadcasting history by giving you a chance to win the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off.
That is gone!
Listen weekdays at 7:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to qualify for the grand prize. 2 amazing tickets in the Xfinity Club to see the Atlanta Braves Saturday, September 7th versus the Toronto Blue Jays. Plus hotel and spending cash from ESPN Northwest Florida, PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Friday. Sunshine the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze around 9 miles per hour coming out of the south, and look for it to be 93. Tonight there will be clear skies with the temperature reaching 78. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 92. Sunday will have a high of 90 and some sun in the morning, followed by a chance of thunderstorms. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
You want a big-time sports show? Tune in for the Afternoon Underdogs.
We're live and local here.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
We need one more SEC team in there to shake things up.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
I'll let y'all go for the
segment?
Yeah, I kind of hate to.
Hour number 2 is 18 minutes away. I jumped the gun a little bit. We are right here in the 440 segment, and we're going to continue on with the Clash at the Castle. Where was the result? What was the result? Yeah, let's do this one. All right,
let's go.
What was the result of the first ever WrestleMania match in 1985?
Ooh, I know this one.
I don't remember what the first match was.
I know this one, and Mike knows this. Wait. Mike, before you say anything, are we supposed to say anything, or is this for somebody to guess?
If you know it, I would prefer that you
keep quiet.
Keep quiet. If you don't know it, but you think you do, you can throw it out there.
Mike, we know it, so we'll be quiet, and let's see if one of the callers out there, listeners, can get this right.
That'd be great.
850-215-6290. We'll give you $25 to not the, but that booze store and a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. What was the result of the first ever WrestleMania match in 1985? Brian, I'm going to make this a little bit easier for you now here as well, because it is multiple choice. Is it A, Andre the Giant defeating Big John Studd? Is it B, King Kong Bundy taking care of Special Delivery, defeating Special Delivery?
Jones? Was that
Keep going. There's a few more choices here. Read the rest of the choices.
Letter C, Junkyard Dog defeating Greg Valentine, or D, Tito Santana defeating the Executioner?
I think I know which one it is.
No way, Caveman Rick.
Go for it, Cave. No, wait a minute. Do we have a caller or a Caveman going to take it?
Well, nope, you're wrong. You're wrong. But
What Caveman Rick say? I'm missing out.
he put up he put up some fingers and stuff. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Looks like I got it wrong.
I think I know. I would, for some reason, off the top of my head, I just had this vision, and I know it's not this. When the question came up, I had this vision of Coco Beware and that stupid parrot for some reason.
He's a little late.
But I do think I know what it is now. So okay,
all right,
that's good.
That was because of that dumb video they did back in the 80s.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Land of a Thousand Dances.
No, that was was it Pile Driver?
Yeah. We performed that on the show with Coco. We performed that song on the show with Coco. Yes,
how about
we did.
that?
Yeah, how you like
all
that,
right,
Michaels?
Well, and they can see that on your YouTube channel.
Yes, they can.
There you go.
The Farrell's YouTube channel.
I
yes,
love
sir.
it.
And I posted the link of Monty and Pharaoh's channel on our Facebook live feed right now. So if you want to go check that out,
check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks,
it looks
guys.
like there's a ton. Y'all have a ton of content on there.
Yeah, we do.
A ton of content.
There's a library.
Lots of subscribers.
Yep. There's a library there. We're very proud of that.
And
That was
y'all
a lot of hard work.
Y'all had to restart everything too. Is that something? I don't want to get into it
it's
today.
Fine. It's fine. We did have to restart. We had a very famous guest on, Missy Hyatt, I do believe was the guest, and she had made a derogatory comment towards Governor Cuomo back in the time when he was governor, and we were basically canceled. And it was very frustrating because we're the interviewers, we're not the interviewee. We ask questions. We did not ask, would you like to do so and so to Cuomo? This was something that was volunteered by her on the subject of politics, and the next thing you know, we're being canceled, and it's unfortunately it's the way of the world nowadays. But that was the deal.
Just that much more impressive, restarting from scratch and building it back to where you guys are.
Yeah, we're getting right back to where we were. We're
Absolutely
pretty close to
wonderful.
the 20,000 plethora. So we're right back to rocking and rolling and hitting the wrestling.
Very impressive stuff. We only got about 12 minutes.
All right,
here,
let's get into the card here, I guess, for Clash of the Castle.
Exactly.
Well, let's start with it, guys. We talked about how impressive Chad Gable has been. We've got Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about Gable's contract. He's coming up on free agency. Has he signed? Will he sign? Who knows? What do we think here, guys? Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable.
Mike, take this one first, please.
No predictions, please. Just observations.
Well, I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Oh, of course he is.
Chad Gable will win the title with the help of his crew there, and moving on with the Chad Gable story. So, Jimmy, you'll get your Otis Chad Gable match for SummerSlam, and that will be a lot of fun.
You stole my thunder. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think they keep teasing the Otis thing. I think Otis helps Gable get this win. And then you're right. I think SummerSlam is a perfect time. Look, it's going to be $1 Million Man and Virgil, R.I.P., Part 2. It's going to be huge because the fans are so behind Otis and wanting him to turn. But I agree. I think he sticks with Chad. I think they keep teasing it, but Chad wins.
I think Chad should win, but you know what? This is where I always get crossed up because SummerSlam's supposed to be sexy. You want to bring in your sexy star, Sami Zayn, and it's ridiculous that I'm referring to him that way. Look at him. But Sami Zayn is extremely popular and very over, and I would think that he would be going into SummerSlam as Intercontinental Champion. Otherwise, what are you doing with him?
Yeah.
What's his role going to be? So, if I'm pressed against the wall, I would say that I would much prefer Chad to win, but Sami seems like the safe bet.
The match, guys, that, for lack of a better term, will be the popcorn match, I think, unfortunately, on this card. The triple threat for the Women's Tag Team Championships. We've got the champions, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, who look like, I think I heard someone describe them as the female version of the Road Warriors. That was a pretty interesting comparison.
Okay.
Against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. There's some UK there that's going to be interesting. And Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. This, to me, I would be shocked and amazed if Jade and Bianca did not win this one, because I think the real story, and we all know it, Jade versus Bianca is going to be the story. They need to keep them going before the ultimate breakup and the heavyweight bout that will be those two. So I think they get the win here.
I agree with that one. I think that's pretty. It's a pretty safe bet. When do they finally clash, though? Do they wind up at WrestleMania against each other? How far off is this breakup?
I don't know if they can sustain it that long. This could be a Survivor Series or maybe a Rumble kind of blow.
Right, Mike. Is this just an easy decision here on your end?
I think this goes to WrestleMania.
Really?
This has got a lot. This has got a lot of legs on it.
I agree.
One thing I will mention, though, Cargill looks incredible. But when you see Belair come out, and you just judge it, right? Obviously, Cargill is more ripped, but Belair is like, she is, what an athlete.
Yes.
What a body.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
I'll wait to WrestleMania. They need to build this thing up and you got to give Jade some time. She's not ready. She's still too green. You need to get to WrestleMania. She needs a lot of reps. And, I say we wait till WrestleMania. You got plenty of time to build this. Leave the belts on them. Tease it. Let's have that clash at the end.
When was the last time you saw a tag team come out where their auras are both as big as the other ones?
Yeah.
This is a really good team.
That's why this split is going to work so well.
It is.
I mean, it really is.
It is.
Third match, interesting one because of where this is taking place. You mentioned it earlier, Jimmy. Piper Niven getting a shot here. Obviously, she is from Scotland. Mm-hmm. She's going to be hugely over, but she's taking on Bayley, who is a giant star, especially in the UK. They've adopted her and have for years. I mean, that's where a lot of these Bayley chants and songs all started back in NXT, and Bayley, a very popular champion.
Yep.
It would be a really interesting place for a weird kind of title change.
Right.
But I'm not sure I'm ready to give it. I think it would be neat. I think they could tell an interesting story if Piper Niven were to get this. I just don't think it's going to happen here. I think Bayley retains.
This is one of those matches where they do the title change and you go, I can't believe they just did that.
Yeah.
It feels like that. I agree with you, but I don't think that it should happen, nor do I think it will happen. I think that Bayley will. Again, I'm looking towards SummerSlam. Who are your sexy names? Bayley is one of them. You know what I'm saying? So I think Bayley finds a way to get out of there with the title.
You're not going to have two title changes on this premium live event. So if we're going with Gable, the rest of it is pretty easy to figure out. But I'm not so sure if it's easy to figure out because we've got that other championship match on the line, which I'm very interested to hear from you guys. But Bayley retains. This is a no-brainer. It's just, it's food for fodder. Dewdrop. I like to call it.
Dewdrop.
Dewdrop didn't get the opportunity to go last year, so this is kind of like, hey.
No, with that stupid name, she's not getting an opportunity.
You know
Dewdrop.
You know what I could see here, guys? I could see what happened with Zelina Vega in Puerto Rico.
Right.
Where she comes up a little short, but gets the nice applause at the end, the ovation. I think that would be neat.
This match is going to serve her well, one way or the other.
Next up, we'll save the championship. Well, I mean, all of these are title matches, which is interesting, but let's do this one next. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in an I Quit match. I Quit matches They're interesting. They're not my favorite gimmick matches that are out there. And anytime the babyface loses, it's through some kind of nefarious means where, like, they bring Edge's wife in and they're threatening to hit her with a chair, or they bring someone else into the fray. I heard an interesting conspiracy theory that Mama Rhodes will be at this event. Will she be brought into it? I don't see any way Cody doesn't leave this the champion, but what do you guys think?
I totally agree. And again, this gets back to my point that when Roman was champion, you never knew whether or not he was going to slip out of there with the belt or not. There was always that shadow of the doubt. AJ Styles is an amazing wrestler, a first ballot Hall of Famer. This match is going to be great, but AJ Styles is somehow going to say, I quit, and Cody Rhodes is going to walk out of there continuing to befuddle Coach and Monty.
Well, I'm going to go with AJ Styles. I think he definitely is going to win the title, and there's no doubt. No, come on, guys.
You had me. You were Roman Reignsing me. I believed every syllable. Well done, Mike. Well done.
The bigger question is, by AJ saying I quit, does he use this to retire?
Ooh. AJ's not going to say I quit. The brothers are going to throw in the towel.
You think?
Yeah, it's the Good Brothers.
Interesting.
And that's going to be, you gotta keep AJ safe somehow. I never said I quit. You guys said I quit for me. Who knows?
Jimmy, I'm going to go with Coach. I think he's going to say I quit and he's going to retire.
Wow.
You know what? It's time. That's a good call, Coach. I'm going to go with that route.
Wow. If that's really the end for AJ Styles, a title match saying I quit, that's a little different than, Michaels looking at Flair going, I'm sorry, I love you, and kicking him in the face. But, wow, that's a terrible way for AJ to go out.
That only gave us 20 more years of Flair.
Right. I'm not done yet. Woo!
Just add into it, right? He says, I quit. The Good Brothers beat him up, and now AJ Styles is a face, and now I'm not quitting now because I have to get my revenge.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
All right. Final match. This is the interesting one here because obviously we're in Scotland. Drew did not beat Roman Reigns last year at the Clash. Surprised a lot of people who thought maybe that'd be a good place for it. Not me, but Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre for the heavyweight championship. I've got my own thoughts on this. I'm going to save it, so I'm going to go to you guys first. What do we think happens here?
Oh, boy. You'd think on the surface that Drew would be able to leave there with the championship and make his homeland happy, and he's happy, and it's payback for him doing a quick turnover at WrestleMania and giving the belt to Priest and all of that other stuff. But McIntyre is going to win by disqualification. He's not going to get the damn belt. And Priest is going to wind up keeping the belt and fighting Gunther, who's going to take the title from him at SummerSlam. This is what I think should probably happen, even though I want McIntyre to walk. Personally, as a fan, I want McIntyre to walk out of there with the title. I think he should. But you know what? Vince is not involved, so maybe he will. Maybe he will.
Vince never lets people win.
Walk out with the title, right? Maybe he will. Maybe Triple H is booking it that way. But if they don't book it that way, which I think they should, they will probably do a DQ where the Judgment Day ruins the match for him. This still leaves McIntyre and Punk open to further things, and Priest takes the title in and loses to Gunther, because Gunther is definitely heading for a world title, and it would make sense that unless you have McIntyre winning and turn around and lose to Gunther, there is that too. Mike, you got to help me out here. This one's a conundrum, matey.
I just can't see two title changes, but it's either McIntyre wins, we set up Punk, McIntyre, SummerSlam, McIntyre loses for whatever reason, DQ, whatever, Punk wins the belt from Priest at SummerSlam. I don't know which way they're going to go with this. In the end result, it's got to be Punk McIntyre, and it has to be Punk McIntyre for the title. So, since I've already chosen Gable to win, I'm going to say Priest wins, like you said, over by a DQ or something to that level.
Right.
The popular notion here is that Punk somehow shows up, costs McIntyre again, which would be interesting in Scotland. I'm going to take this different. And look, Punk doesn't need to fight for the title, but they always seem to involve him in the title. So I think Mike's right. I think this has to be for the title at SummerSlam. So here's what I think. I think Punk shows up, teases, screwing McIntyre over again, takes out Priest,
right,
giving McIntyre the win and says, I want you and to take that belt off of you at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
So Scotland gets their champion. They set up the Punk
But
event
doesn't
for
that
SummerSlam.
ignore the fact that the winner of King of the Ring gets the title shot? And who's the winner of the King of the Ring? You cannot take Gunther out of this equation. That's why I predicted what I predicted, is that Gunther has to get his title shot. He's earned it for SummerSlam. He's already locked in.
I just think we're throwing the curveball.
We're going to have a three-way match. McIntyre, Punk, four quarter.
Hey, there we go.
Why is it not Gunther against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam? I thought that
There
was
you
the match.
go. There you go.
I don't know. I've seen Gunther face-to-face with Priest, too.
Yeah,
so.
we could go on this forever is the problem, but no, I think they throw the Punk curveball here and he helps McIntyre.
It stinks you got to go, Brian, because we've got like lister questions rolling in now.
Oh, we do?
We
I
don't
might
have
be able
time.
to do 10 minutes.
All right, 10 minutes in the next segment, and we'll continue on with Coach Brian with Monty and Pharaoh as well. Make sure you go check out their YouTube channel. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Hour number 2 up next.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Hey guys, we are stoked. Coach James Hale has been nominated for Best Morning Radio Personality in the News Herald's Best of Bay. And right now, you can show your support by voting for the Coach James Hale Show.
To vote, go to ESPNPC.com and click Best of Bay.
And remember, don't vote for Dr. Puker.
Vote Coach James Hale in 2024.
That guy does puke a lot though, right?
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Friday. Sunshine the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze around 9 miles per hour coming out of the south, and look for it to be 93. Tonight there will be clear skies with the temperature reaching 78. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 92. Sunday will have a high of 90 and some sun in the morning, followed by a chance of thunderstorms. This weather is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
The Atlanta Braves are rolling, and this roster's on a mission to bring home their 7th straight division crown.
2-0, and he hits one high in the air towards deep right center, to the wall, and it ain't sticking around. It's a 3-run home run.
Tonight, the Braves are back in town, and Truist Park's open for business as the interleague battles continue with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Braves coverage starts at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:20 after the Afternoon Underdogs, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
WGSX Lynn Haven WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 40 minutes away from our final opportunity for you guys to get entered into the 7-year send-off from ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll give you the cue to call at 540. You call the number 850-215-6290 and be caller number 10. That's brought to you by PCB Hobby Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and Home 2 Suites. We are joined now by Coach Brian Haddad. We've got Jimmy Farrow and Monty on the line with us, and we're talking we talked Clash at the Castle, but then some questions started rolling in. Chef Ross typing out, the real question is, do I get to finish my story of qualifying for those Brave tickets? He's called the station today 41 times trying to be
41
caller number 10.
Did you take the phone off the hook yet?
No,
wow,
sir.
41.
Whatever
That's
we
persistence.
When I see Chef Chef Ross, I just hang up. I don't tell him this. Hopefully he's not listening, but I just hang up on him and move right on. So it's not a coincidence that you're caller number 7 every single time there, Chef Ross. That's automated. I actually just play him a little recording. It says, you're caller number 7 and then move right on. All right. So we got a text in that wants to know, and I think you guys talked about it a little bit, but who would you say is the most electrifying wrestler in WWE history?
Just the use of that term would lend you to say The Rock, so I'll go with The Rock. I'll take the easy road.
All right.
Who had the greatest karma in the history of the WWE? The most over? Be hard-pressed to top Stone Cold Steve Austin in the late 90s.
That's a good
Be
one.
really hard-pressed when that glass crashes. You could just forget about it.
Monty.
I'm going with Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's
brother.
what I was probably going to say.
There you go,
Hulk.
brother. All these answers, by the way, are correct in their own way.
That's right.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah, and that's kind of the beauty about, I would say, from the wrestling perspective, is just you can pretty much, there's some right answers, but for the most part, it's your own perspective, right?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, there's probably somebody sitting at home listening to the show right now going, Undertaker.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be wrong.
You're right.
And they wouldn't be wrong.
Younger people are going to say Cena.
Right.
And there's plenty of answers.
That's
for
correct.
sure.
Nobody's saying Cody Rhodes, by the way.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Do you think he gets there?
No, not to that. No, not to that.
I don't.
I don't think so.
I don't. I think he's been a better champion than I thought he was going to be, and he fills a great role, but I don't think he transcends like some of those other guys do.
Monty, what say you?
I say his name is Stardust.
Wow, one bad gimmick and it's all over forever. Doesn't matter what you do. That's hilarious. Stardust did suck, though. Can I say that word? I think I just did.
You did, so we're there. So Wright State Chris texted in and said there's been a lot of talk about Scott Hall in the comment section today. And Scott Hall, he said it was terrible that he never got an opportunity to win the heavyweight title. Right. Would you guys say that that was which wrestler not winning the championship was the biggest, the worst? I'm doing a
who's
terrible
the best
job.
wrestler who didn't win the heavyweight championship?
Bada bing, bada boom. Way to reword
Scott
that.
Hall has to be up there. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I know I'm missing
Roddy
somebody.
Piper.
Roddy.
Absolute. I knew there was somebody I was missing. Roddy Piper would have been phenomenal. He didn't need the belt, but he would have been great with it.
Well, we as Mike remembers, we've had Scott Hall on before he passed away. Scott didn't want the belt.
Yeah.
Because the belt means responsibility.
Yeah.
And Scott didn't want any part of responsibility. And that was, it was a bit of an eye-opener to hear that from the great Razor Ramon Scott Hall, but he just didn't want that sort of luggage. He was more interested in living the rock star lifestyle, and, it wasn't for him. Tommy Rich, who we've had on our show, was NWA champion back when it really mattered to be one for 5 days. And we both asked Tommy, Tommy, why such a short run? I didn't want to leave Georgia. I was big in Georgia. There's no reason for me to go anywhere else. I was perfectly happy in Georgia. Let Flair run around be an idiot.
That's right.
I mean, basically, and it's pretty funny when you find these things out. Bob Backlund was a real company man. Loved what he did, took the title around the world for 5.5 years, defending it in Japan, defending it against Flair down in the Omni in Georgia, defending it up in Madison Square Garden or the Spectrum or the Boston Garden. If you try to take the belt off him in what's called a shoot, when you're not following good luck, because he'd hurt you. Yeah. He would hurt you. He was a true company wrestler. He was a wrestler's wrestler and a company man. It's funny when you interview all these guys and you get to see behind the scenes, well, why weren't you champion? Sometimes the answer is, I didn't want to be. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Let me throw one more name into the mix. I'm curious Monty's thoughts on this, too.
Sure.
What about Ted DiBiase? Because I know he was pretty close in the old NWA days. I know there was some talk of that at one point. I guess he was given it, but what do you think, Monty?
In actuality, we have Ted DiBiase on, and Jimmy petitioned that Ted DiBiase should be recognized as World Heavyweight Champion because he was.
That's right.
That's a true story, and all of a sudden he brought the $1 million belt back to the NXT the next week. That's a true story. So he actually did listen to us, and the next thing you know, he's cashing in, making all the money, and we're still watching Uncle Floyd reruns. Way to go, Mike.
Was that cashing in from the state of Mississippi, though?
What was that, Mike?
I want to throw one name in there.
Yeah.
mass superstar.
Oh, mass superstar was great. He could have been champion. Hey, how about Greg Valentine, who held it in New York for a couple of weeks while they, held the belt up everywhere else and gave the belt back to Backlund. Greg Valentine with magnificent Morocco. Yeah. That was another world championship material guy. There's plenty of guys.
What about Jimmy Snuka?
What about Jimmy Superfly?
Yeah.
He was never world champion.
It's hard to believe he was never the champion as big as he was, certainly in the Northeast.
Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect was never champion, the great Kurt Hennig. Well, he was champion of AWA. Does that count, Mike? Of course it does, right?
James texts in. He says Nikita Koloff. I don't know if that's pertaining to this. All I'm seeing is a text here. I don't know who this is, so I'm throwing it out there to you.
was a great heel in the old NWA days and WCW or whatever.
Nikita Koloff?
Yeah.
Nikita Koloff could have been a world champion.
Yeah,
he was definitely world championship material.
The funniest thing about that is how many people think he was a legit Russian when he was from Minnesota, which is hilarious.
Chief Jay Strongbow was an Italian who played an Indian.
That's right.
So what are you going to do?
I love wrestling, folks.
Jimmy, you should tell that story about Nikita when he was in studio, why he did that.
Why he did what, Mike? Fill me in.
Why he held that Russian persona. He lived it nonstop. He even in front of the boys acted like he was Russian.
Right. Yeah, he was really, really, really into that role. Mike, the only thing I can never stop thinking of is with Nikita Koloff was when we were trying to find the car in the parking lot, and we walked around in circles for an hour with Koloff.
Is that the same guy as Nikolai Volkov you're saying, or is that somebody different?
That's somebody different.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Volkov
somebody different.
was mostly in the WWF with Iron Sheik, and
that's what I thought,
Koloff was kind of a heel with Rhodes and Flair and kind of that time frame of the old WCW, well, NWA. At that time, but yeah.
What about that Sergeant Slaughter? I remember even having the G.I. Joe action figure.
There you go. He could have easily been and was WWF champion. He could have been champion in multiple organizations.
That's right.
He was champion, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, he was.
Right. That didn't go over very well, but yes, he was.
No.
Yep. He was champion.
What else?
Who was the worst champion in WWE history?
Ooh, WWE history?
WWF. And I'm partial to WCW, so you can always throw those
I
in
love
there.
the shock value of it. Jinder Mahal has to be in mix here. It has to be in the mix.
That was torture. Jinder Mahal.
That was the most shocking championship probably ever.
You want to talk about the air going out of a building? It was SummerSlam. I want to say 2017 or 18, where Jinder Mahal comes in against Shinsuke Nakamura, and the whole building knows it's his time. Nakamura's time to win the title. He's won the Royal Rumble. He's done everything. He's a legend in Japan. He's got the crowd 1,000,000% on his side. 1, 2, 3. The winner, Jinder Mahal, air removed from building. The whole place was like, are you kidding me? Did you really just make this decision? It was a terrible decision, and it was bad for business, too, because Jinder didn't do anything. So it was a really awful...
Great Khali. The Great Khali is the worst champion.
Good God. He was bad, too. Hey, what about Stan the Man Stasiak back in the day? He looked like a baked potato in shorts.
I was just thinking about that. You're right.
It was awful.
Well, here's the thing. Stasiak was set up to be a transitional champion.
Right.
The one that's probably the most disappointing for where they thought it should go and how quickly it ended because he couldn't carry it. How about the Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah.
He was so big. They were pinning so many hopes on him, and what a disappointment it ended up being.
I was very angry when he beat Hogan. I was the only one in the room protesting. Everybody else is jumping up and down for the flavor of the month, and I was saying, this is just the flavor of the month. Hulk Hogan is the true legend and the true greatness is a terrible decision. And I turned out to be historically correct on that one. What an observation, huh, Hayes?
Hey, not a prediction, baby. That was an observation.
Not bad.
What about Yokozuna?
Yokozuna was awesome.
I actually
I thought he might have been a bad one.
No. He was. I'm glad you mentioned him. Yokozuna was a great heel, man. He was a great heel.
But I mean, a bad champion though.
He was a good champion that was involved in a terrible storyline, which was beating Brett and then losing to Hogan.
Here comes Hogan.
Oh, it was so bad.
There were some times where Hogan probably should have not overstayed a certain welcome. Bad. There was, brother. Oh, well, what are you going to do? But I liked Yokozuna, and he's pretty fondly thought of over the years, Yokozuna. He's from the great Samoan family. Believe it or not, Yokozuna's part of the Samoan dynasty.
Right. You know, I just...
The Japanese...
Is the Samoan dynasty the greatest dynasty in all of sports?
Wow.
That's actually a really interesting question.
Are you being really serious? Because the answer might be Might be yes.
I'm asking because I think
it's such a huge tree.
I mean, I'm thinking about baseball and football now and stuff like that.
You just think of the Yankees in general, your team, and how they are, or Brian's team as well. So some of the dynasties they've had, and the way that Caveman Rick looks at a dynasty and the way that I look at the dynasty they're kind of two different. I'm a little easier on saying, all right, if you win 2 out of 3 for me, that's a dynasty.
Well,
Caveman's like, you bet you got to win 3 in a row.
You got to basically 3 or 4.
If you're asking family dynasties, then I think they very well could be. If you're asking dynasties, then there's something about, to me, 1949, 50, 51, 52, 53 with the New York Yankees. Because that's ridiculous what they did 5 years in a row doing that.
Just in wrestling for the sheer numbers, probably. I mean, obviously, you've had some multi-generation families through the year. Obviously, the Rhodes right now, and you've got some others, the Gagnes, Vern, not so much Greg. Although Greg's a great guy and was, a good wrestler, but there are others. But just for the sheer number in the Samoans, it's hard to beat.
Mike, is that the greatest dynasty ever as far as family goes in professional sports? Is it the Samoan dynasty?
I would say so.
I think so.
I would put the Wyndhams up there also.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
a
lot
true.
of branches there too.
You got Blackjack and Barry and Bray. That's
right.
very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Real fight. Who wins?
The Howes.
The who?
The Howes, like Gordie Howe and his sons, all playing in the NHL.
Hey, the Hulls in
He's
the
got
NHL.
a good point because people don't realize just how great Mark was.
There's like 5 of them playing together too.
Mark himself is underrated. If you look at Mark was a defenseman. Have you seen some of the goals?
He was a Philadelphia Flyer.
This guy was unbelievable. Yeah, and he gets it like he's an afterthought because Gordy was his dad.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the Hulls.
It was like 2, Brett and his dad.
You got that. Yep, you got that too.
We were talking about Rahul a lot last night.
Wait, what do you got, Mike?
What about the Von Erichs?
Oh
hey, I can't believe we overlooked them.
That's true. What a family.
That's so much what should have been. I mean, you could throw the Hearts in there, I guess, as well. But
wait, hold on, Yogi Berra and Dale.
Wait a minute. What about the Hanson brothers?
The Hansons?
Oh, yeah, Slapshot.
Come on now.
3 brothers.
All right. Case closed.
UFC. What is it? The Shamrocks. They have they got all their jiu-jitsu schools and whatever, and all their family members that have fought. So maybe.
Right.
Well, speaking of UFC, you said real fight. Who we got coming up?
What do you got, Dave?
Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman, or how am I not reading my own handwriting over here? Or Haku.
Yeah, I want to answer this one. Haku versus God.
Haku. Wait a minute. Versus God.
He would bite his nose off.
God, how do you even know God has a nose?
Well, he won't after fighting Haku.
Wow, you do have a point. Wait.
and here's the thing. Steve Blackman, legit tough guy.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Multiple martial arts, like legit, made JBL like grovel like no one ever has.
Right.
But Haku is Haku. I mean, every wrestler will tell stories of Haku beating up an entire bar. Yeah. And I don't mean all the people, I mean the bar itself.
Right.
What about Andre the Giant, though? He was
Thank you for saying that, Caveman. Mike, Andre and Haku, Caveman just totally triggered this one. Andre and Haku are obviously a legendary tag team together.
Right.
What happens if they're at a bar and they get carried away? Haku fights Andre. Who wins, Mike?
Andre, clean, easy.
Yeah, and Andre can drink him under the table, too.
Yep, there you go. Caveman's all over it.
Haku's going to get his shots in, but if Andre ever grabs him, it's over.
Goodbye. Exactly. Over. That's the age-old discussion. Who would win, Andre the Giant or Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
And all Andre has to do is get a hold of him, correct, guys?
Yeah, that's right.
So there it is.
I don't know. Bruce Lee, I mean, but here's the thing, though. I know this a little bit because I'm not no fighting expert, defensive tactics course, but if you can grab somebody in the right spots, I don't care how big the person is, you will bring them down. You will make them say that they wear women's underwear or something if you so choose to, because
it's
they will say whatever you want them to say.
The problem with Andre is you got to climb 10 miles to find that spot.
What are you saying? He's got sensitive nipples?
No, you got pressure points on your body where you stuck a thumb or something in a spot.
I don't know if y'all are Game of Thrones fans. I had this visual of the viper in the mountain, and that's exactly what this would be.
No, he is right though. Certain things can bring any man to his knees.
Yeah. And I think Bruce Lee would know, how to do that.
Yeah,
that would be something.
I think you're right about that one.
All right, and then we'll finish it up
Like
here.
water.
Like water. With y'all's Mount Rushmore.
Did anyone get the trivia question?
Yeah, did anyone get the trivia question?
Let's go back to that real quick. 850-215-6290. The question was, what was the result of the first ever WrestleMania match in 1985? And your category or your choices are Andre. I had to close out a pop up there. Andre the Giant defeating Big John Studd. King Kong Bundy taking down Special Delivery. Junkyard Dog defeating Greg Valentine, or Tito Santana defeating the Executioner. 850-215-6290. If we don't get it after you guys wrap up the your Mount Rushmores here, we'll give the question or the answer out. But let's start with you. Let's go, Pharaoh.
There you go.
Your Mount Rushmore.
Wow, my Mount Rushmore.
Because I know you said it was going to be tough, so I'll give you a little time to think.
Oh, my God.
Are we talking just WWE, or are we talking historical wrestling?
All time.
Okay.
Your favorite wrestlers, and if four is too hard, we could.
It's a personal one. Okay.
If
'Cause I'm not bringing Jim Landis in or anything like that.
You do that, I'll put a leg lock on you. What are you doing?
If 4 is too hard, we can make it a little harder and just go with 1.
No, that's fine. The Mount Rushmore is fine. I'm going to do it as a historian, not as far as my personal favorite, because they probably wouldn't be the same. Hulk Hogan has to be on Mount Rushmore. Stone Cold Steve Austin has to be on Mount Rushmore. The Rock deserves to be on Mount Rushmore, and John Cena. Now, what I've done is I've basically taken, since we started WrestleMania, I've gone through the Attitude Era, and then I've gone through the Ruthless Aggression Era. If there is a fifth one, and I'm being historically responsible, it's Roman Reigns. Okay, these are the faces of all the major movements that happened, for the most part, in WWE history. So that's my 4. I can see Roman bumping possibly one of them, but I wouldn't personally. That's my 4 for now: Hogan, Rock, Cena, and Austin.
Mike?
I'm going with my favorite Mount Rushmore.
I like that.
I'm not going historically. Hulk Hogan, Kerry Von Erich, Rowdy Roddy Piper,
Piper,
and Roman Reigns.
There you go. It's a great list.
Mine would be Sting. Hogan. Sting was my favorite.
Let him have his list, you bully. See, there's bullying going right there.
Right there. Someone write an article up and put it on Monty Pharaoh's website.
He's ready to spray paint on you.
I'll give you Sting.
Unbelievable.
Sting, Hogan, because I actually got to meet Hogan when I was younger. I got to go Flair because I was my cousin's favorite wrestler, and then Rey Mysterio.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. K-Man, you got a list?
All right, yeah, real quick. I mean, I only thought it for a little while when I was a kid, but how about, of course, Hulk Hogan, pretty big.
Cool.
George Animal Steel was the tongue and like the hairy back and like chewing on like what is it, a turnbuckle, like tearing it apart and like eating it and whatever.
Okay. Elementary school teacher, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Rowdy Roddy, of course. You know, and British Bulldog.
Oh, very nice list, Caveman. Very nice.
I'm going to kind of bridge favorite and historical here and throw in some different names, although I love Piper. He was good. Hogan has to be on it no matter what. Okay. I'm going to throw Harley Race on there.
Very nice.
Big Harley Race fan, what he did traveling the world with the NWA title. I never popped harder for anybody than Stone Cold Steve Austin, so I got to put him on there. The fourth one is tough.
Look at you struggling. There's wires burning on his earlobes. Do you see
I can't leave Flair off of that list.
There you go.
I just can't do it.
There you go.
I'm going to go Flair and Race. We'll get our NWA over there, and then I'll have Austin and Hogan.
Very nice.
Nancy says Hogan, Flair, Stone Cold, Undertaker. Kyle says Sting, Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold.
He amazing. None of us said Undertaker. Isn't that amazing? That's how hard this Mount Rushmore is.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
I mean, that's why I really like the historian approach to it and the favorite approach. I mean, there's just so many ways you could do it. It's interesting because anytime we start talking about wrestling on the show, that's a lot of people want to go right to that direction. Like, what's your Mount Rushmore? And it's kind of cool because you learn about people through finding out about their Mount
Notice
Rushmore.
that no one on the list, our lists
mentioned
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Bret Hart.
Foley.
Wow.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, talent that should have been, Barry Windham is right at the top of the list.
I'm surprised that wasn't on Mike's list. How about that, Mike? You didn't say Barry.
It was. He was close.
Yeah.
He was close.
Sure. He's one of the all-time legends.
Talent.
Yep.
Well, the answer to the trivia question, what was the result of the first ever WrestleMania match in 1985?
Arriba! Tito Santana versus the Executioner.
That is 100%
There you
correct.
go.
We're going to be sending Pharaoh home with $25 for that.
Wait a minute. Can I, do I get a Culver's coupon? I'll take Coach to Culver's? I mean, what's going on here?
Hey, let's get this signed up.
Sponsor, all right?
Hey, shameless plug right there. Shameless plug.
Oh, my God.
Again, guys.
I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
Who was the Executioner?
Vader.
I should know that.
Nope.
And I don't know that.
I don't know.
Nope. Nobody knows. I know. Mike, you want me to say it to you?
You could say it there, Jimmy.
Playboy Buddy Rose.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
How about that one? You gotta love it. Do I win something else? Do I get to go to a gas station and get a few dollars off my
free
tank?
trip outside of the door.
There we go. Where you can smoke cigarettes at will.
Hey, again, guys, Monty and the Pharaoh, catch them on Cablevision, YouTube, Facebook, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Man, this is just a taste of how fun that show is.
Was this really an hour? This flew right by. That's
It was, it was an hour.
crazy. Well, thank you guys very much for having us. We appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Mike, thanks so much for your time, my friend.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
Absolutely. All right, yeah, as Coach Brian said, make sure you're checking them out. We put the link on our Facebook feed as well, so you can go check out their channel. Coach Brian, we're going to have you back with us Monday, but as always, fun. 540's open if the guys want to come back and recap what happened at the Clash at the Castle. This is the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida is celebrating 7 years of broadcasting history by giving you a chance to win the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off.
That is gone!
Listen weekdays at 7:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to qualify for the grand prize. 2 amazing tickets in the Xfinity Club to see the Atlanta Braves Saturday, September 7th versus the Toronto Blue Jays. Plus hotel and spending cash from ESPN Northwest Florida, PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. Clear tonight with a wind coming out of the northwest around 5 miles per hour and a low of 79. Tomorrow morning, look for sunshine with a temperature near 90. The afternoon and evening, a high around 91 and sunshine. Sunday, very warm with a high of 88 and mostly sunshine in the morning and then possible thunderstorms. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts in Delhi. Call 763-1627.
Atlanta Braves fans, listen weekdays at 7:40, 12:40, and 5:40. Your chance to qualify to win the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off from ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
And we are back. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, for the last couple of weeks, we've been working on the 7-year send-off, right? And we've got your next opportunity in 14 minutes at 5:40. We are right on the heels, though, of giving you another opportunity to go to the Atlanta Braves, and that is going to be June 28th is when the game is. So we are 2 weeks away from that. We're going to do So I think the way that I'm going to do it is I think we're going to be doing this on June 20th or the 21st. I think for the Afternoon Underdogs, we're going to do Braves trivia. And the player who wins the most, who gets the most amount of questions, will take calls for the whole entire show on June 20th or the 21st. We'll keep you guys updated on that. And whichever contestant calls in and gets the most consecutive Braves trivia questions correct will be our winner. So it's a one-day contest. It's not being caller number 10, anything like that. It's this is gonna be a skill-based contest. Yeah, you're earning it because more than likely on the Coach Hale show might be caller number 10 text, and I don't know how they're doing it. All three of the shows are going to be doing it differently. We will have 4 total family 4-packs to give away for that. So, and we're close to giving away this 7-year send-off. I mean, after our next opportunity, that's going to be all of the winners. So we'll be doing that shortly. Are we doing that? Maybe.
Well, it's hard to keep up with all these Braves tickets we're giving away. Wow.
That is true, man.
So it's a good problem to have.
It is. We're very lucky to have all these tickets.
No doubt.
So each show's going to be giving some away next week and the week after. We're going to do some online. We'll probably do some during the Braves game too. Yeah, so man, just keep listening and you're going to have many opportunities to score those tickets.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of opportunities, as Bone Crusher just mentioned. And can we give a round of applause to Bone Crusher, too? All of those swag bags and everything that you guys picked up, he put in all of the work of getting all of those things together, getting the stuff from Buffalo Rock, helping us put together the promos. You hear a lot of these scripts that are read, a lot like 99.9 or 99999% of the time. That's Bone Crusher writing those scripts up. So round of applause for Bone Crusher and all that you do.
Thank you for making this about me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. No, it's about the station, but without that, there's you do a lot of work. You put a lot of work in.
Everyone here works hard. Every single person comes through this door, is indispensable for these contests to execute and for people to win and have a good time. I mean, there's no weak links in our chain.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle Albritton says if only it was an A's game, we would all be winners. I guess because the demand wouldn't be so high for them this year. But so that June 28th game, do we know who that is that the Braves are going to be playing? Thank you. I appreciate that. As your Atlanta Braves are going to be coverage starting at 6 p.m. tonight. First pitch at 6:20. Chris Sale going for the Braves. He did bounce back in his last start. Hopefully that continues for him. The Braves, the pitching hasn't been the issue. The pitching hasn't been the issue for the Atlanta Braves, especially at the forefront. The starting rotation has been good. Reynaldo Lopez yesterday has now logged enough innings that he leads Major League Baseball in the ERA department with a 1.69 ERA, which is beautiful. Caveman Rick, June 28th.
Yeah, June 28th, so Friday. It'll be a 6:20 start time, and your Atlanta Braves will be going against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So maybe you get to see some Paul Skeens, be pretty cool to see.
That would be
O'Neal
a
Cruz.
fun one to go see. I mean, they've got Henry Davis. I don't know if they've called him up or they're going to be calling him up soon. But O'Neal Cruz is one of my favorite players to watch. He was kind of like the Ellie De La Cruz, the first edition.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And now
Ellie's like O'Neal Cruz 2.0.
Yeah, there you go, man. Well, NHL Finals were last night. It's essentially over. There has been 4 times that the 3-0 deficit in the National Hockey League has.
Yeah, but I don't believe it's ever happened in the Stanley Cup Finals, though. It's only happened in the first 3 rounds.
And from what we've seen, it's still not happening. But give me your thoughts, your takeaways from the series to this point and from the game last night.
For the series to this point, I thought Edmonton was going to have more of a shot. I didn't think Florida was going to basically punch him in the mouth, wasn't going to just roll all over him and just suffocate him and like strangle him to death the way they have. Sergei Bobrovsky, just awesome goaltender. Up until this series, I thought Shesterkin was the guy, but Bobrovsky, he's showing something right now. At this point right now, if everything holds true and his goals against average don't really change, he's got the lowest goals against average right now for a Stanley Cup final ever, behind Patrick Waugh. I think it's by like 0.1%, so it's like a tenth of a percent. So that could change, if he has a bad game here in this next game. But say he gets a shutout or something, then he's going to be up there, and those numbers might never get touched. The way last night's game went, it was kind of the way I was kind of thinking it probably shouldn't have gone for Edmonton, where Florida, if they were to score early on and get that kind of crowded Edmonton out of it and jump on the Oilers early like they did, I didn't think it was going to bode well for them. Obviously, that was the case. Florida got the first goal. Edmonton did try to fight back later on, but there's not enough there. There's not enough scoring there. Florida's just, like I said, they're just strangling them. They're like a boa constrictor, keeping the shots down, not letting them, get into the zone very well, cleanly. When they are getting into the zone, they're not letting, Edmonton cycle the puck down low or getting those good, clean, crisp passes. Edmonton likes to play more of a finesse game, and just Florida's not letting them do that, unfortunately. So I think it's over.
Yeah, it definitely looks to be that way. Do you think that Edmonton wins Game 4, or is it a sweep for Florida?
Honestly,
obviously it's tough to say. I know, but
I think they're going to get swept. Right now, I could see Bobrovsky getting a shutout. Like I said, just the way they've been playing. I could see with all the talent that Edmonton has, I can see them pulling out this Game 4 and forcing it to a Game 5. But at this point, I don't want to say give up and throw in the towel, but it's basically over. And then as far as Edmonton, what do you do now? You got to blow it up, right? You've had guys like McDavid and Draisaitl there long enough.
But you can't get rid of what?
Okay, so it's kind of they didn't win yet. I was going to say kind of like the Acuna thing. But
okay, gotcha.
If you're not still getting there and you still have all this talent here, eventually the talent's going to go away. You can still get something now for Connor McDavid. You can still get a king's ransom, if you will, all right? So why not maybe make a move, keep a couple other guys there, unless, you keep McDavid and he wants to stay, which I don't know, and then you get rid of everybody else and kind of rebuild around him. Does he want to stay around for that? And does he want to go through a rebuild, So I think you kind of have to, look in the mirror, see who you guys really are, what your identity as a team, as a franchise is moving forward, and make a decision going forward from there. Like I said, I hate to see it, but they just, with all the draft picks that they've had, over a ton of years, and not being able to put it together and make it come to fruition after all this time, it's probably not going to happen. And like I said the other day too, unfortunately Canada finds a hard time getting a lot of free agents to come to places like that. Edmonton's the most northern city in Canada with an NHL franchise. So in the wintertime there, it's pretty damn cold. So if you got guys that could, if they want to be playing in say South Florida or Southern California or something like that, and that's your options, or go to a place like Edmonton, Alberta. Yeah, I don't know.
I do think that it's an unfair advantage. I think more so for Florida fans right now. Beautiful weather over there in California, right? But what's the one glaring difference that separates guys who want to go play in Florida compared to California?
Taxes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge factor. That's
more money.
And one of the reasons why a lot of players in Major League Baseball like to go to Atlanta is because of the tradition and pedigree of TBS back in the day, that footprint that it provided, but also Georgia as far as, they have a state income tax.
They have state tax there,
they were voted as the number one team for free agents to go to in a poll that The Athletic did, is 12%. There's a whole bunch of other temes that were right there with them.
I kind of wonder where they're getting that from, because
from the players.
Really? Because I'm saying Atlanta's it's not a big town. It doesn't have all that a whole lot to offer like some of the other bigger markets, where you got a lot of other stuff going on. So I would have thought, that they wouldn't have been there. Plus, they're not paying nobody. AA's not paying nobody a lot.
I think that's what the more interesting facet of it was for me, is the fact that, unless you're Marcelo Zuna.
You would think it'd be like New York, LA, Philly, those Chicago, the bigger markets that got a lot more people and obviously a lot more money.
Yeah, interesting. But so for Florida, the state of Florida, when it comes to hockey, you could see this trend kind of running a few more years for them as well.
It doesn't hurt too when a team like Tampa's won a few championships as well. There was a long time there too where you kind of had to wonder if expanding down into places like
was
Florida,
a good idea.
Southern California, because it took a while. Anaheim, they won their first cup. What was it? 05, I think, 06, somewhere in there. So, they got one. LA, was never, they won some finally, but they didn't even win with Gretzky.
How much do you think that helped Gretzky going to the Kings, like as far as making places like that more popular for hockey?
It wouldn't have happened without Gretzky having success in LA. If you don't have Gretzky getting traded to the Kings, you didn't have the Kings having the success that they did in LA with having like movie stars when you had like, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn going to games and stuff like that. Now you see guys like Will Ferrell at games because he's like a Kings fan. He's embraced a bunch of that stuff being in LA. That helps out a bunch. But if that didn't happen, no, you wouldn't have seen Anaheim. You wouldn't have seen Tampa. You wouldn't have seen Florida. You wouldn't have seen, hell, even maybe the North Stars move to Dallas. Stuff like that happening. You probably wouldn't have seen a team in Phoenix.
Wow, that's impressive stuff. It just goes to show you how important your superstars in general are to the games, whatever sport it is that you're playing. How important guys like Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson were to the sport of baseball. And there's long list for baseball, but basketball, guys like Larry, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, even LeBron, as much as anyone wants to say, LeBron was a huge carry the torch player for the NBA. A little update on our College World Series Jello Shot Challenge happening up there in Omaha. Florida State is doing a little bit better now. They're sitting at 8:59. This update is from 32 minutes ago. Virginia is not bringing up the rear, but they're close at 346. North Carolina is going hammer. They're over 1,000 at 1,245. Florida is the lowest number right now at 307. A little surprised by that, but maybe it's because the Florida fans are a little surprised by the fact that they're in the College World Series and they're just riding Jack Toney there. No, they've been playing really good baseball. I'm just throwing shade. Tennessee is in the lead by a large margin, 2,358. Texas A&M coming in with 762. Kentucky at 603 and North Carolina State at 466.
Like I said, just not the numbers that I was expecting by now. I thought the numbers would be a lot higher.
Well, actually, I believe Ryan Mulvey was talking about it today on the Inside Drive, is that for that yesterday was a opening day record actually for not just for a single team, but for the entire all-time day one record. Tennessee goes for 348. The whole field goes for 1,621. The SEC alone, 869. The ACC goes for 752, and they're just getting started. I like that, though. Breaking it down as SEC versus ACC. Very interesting tournament just for that sake.
We need to get some analytics on Jello shot snakes, because how you got like the beer cup snakes that are connecting the little cups, and do something with those.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how many you could get, but those would be harder to pass off.
Yeah, I know. So it'd be like, instead of a snake, would it be like a caterpillar or something?
Yeah.
A worm.
Oh, a caterpillar or a worm. Because, caterpillars, they kind of move similar, but caterpillars more arch that back a little bit. And I think
I'm just thinking of something smaller than a snake, that's the same ilk,
Seahorses. I mean, kind of, because it'll end up falling back over in that direction. But yeah, Jack Caglione, the first college baseball player, we talked about this earlier, signing an exclusive deal with Topps and Fanatics, and that's going to have trading cards and memorabilia. But in 2023, he led the league. He had more home runs than anyone, not just the league. He led college baseball, 33 home runs, 90 RBIs in 2023. I didn't know this until reading The Athletic today. He's also got the same number of home runs this year, but he's got 22 fewer plate appearances. I knew that he was crushing the ball. Didn't know that he had 33 in 22 fewer plate appearances, which is impressive. There's another number that impresses me even more so, though. 46 fewer at-bats because he walks a lot, and that's kind of where it gets impressive. Slash line has improved from 323, 389, 738 to 411. He's hitting over 400. 532 and 860. That's pretty big jumps to be awesome last year, and now you're just stupendous at this point. This is where I'm just kind of gawking at the numbers at this point, though. Strikeouts, he had 58 in 2023, cut that in half, 25. 25 here in 2024, and then his walks have increased from 17 to 52, and 28 of those walks were intentional walks. So
that's cutting down on the strikeouts, the walks too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean, anytime when you're doing both of those, because there are times where you can strike out just as much, but your walks increase a little bit. But when you're cutting down on the strikeouts and you're adding the walks there, I think that's great for your team as well. And then it's showing MLB teams that you can be more patient. It's not just all about the long ball for you, and players at the collegiate level are going to have to start showing that for the next 3 to 5 years until we get back to the long ball. And it could just be a year by year thing, but right now that's one of the reasons why the Atlanta Braves are struggling, and some of the other teams, and that's no excuse. And it's not even necessarily a reason. It's just I think that there's numbers that show that the ball is dead this year, and with that, when your roster is built to hit home runs, it's not going to work out for you, and you're going to have to get the small ball. So collegiate players are going to need to start picking up on going back to small ball. All right, it is 5:40. It's time for the 7-year send-off. The number to call is 850-215-6290. We're looking for caller number 10.
For 7 years, ESPN Northwest Florida has been your destination on the Panhandle for the Atlanta Braves.
He just blew the doors off that thing.
But our listeners are the real MVP.
Another dominating performance.
So this year, we're giving away more tickets to Truist Park than ever before. Keep listening to win family 4-packs to experience the Atlanta Braves. From ESPN Northwest Florida, PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
You're a real estate agent, not a social media expert, but you absolutely need a professional social media strategy. Stay on top of mind, top of feed, and be in more places. Introducing SocialStackPro.com, a tool for real estate agents that inspires your content with the power of ChatGPT built right in. Try SocialStackPro.com for free. Focus on building your brand, building relationships, and post like a pro with SocialStackPro.com.
The Atlanta Braves are rolling, and this roster's on a mission to bring home their 7th straight division crown.
2-0, and he hits one high in the air towards deep right center, to the wall, and it ain't sticking around. It's a 3-run home run.
Tonight, the Braves are back in town, and Truist Park's open for business as the interleague battles continue with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Braves coverage starts at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:20 after the Afternoon Underdogs, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's real, and it starts now. Back to the Afternoon Underdogs on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida. The Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off.
That is gone!
From ESPN Northwest Florida.
And it is time for the 7-year send-off, and on the line with us, I think we have caller number 7, so we're going to take 3 more while we're waiting here. But Chef Ross, in the meantime, let's kill some time here. Are you excited to possibly be entered into the grand prize drawing here if you can get to caller number 10?
Believe it or not, Dave, I really was caller 7.
Oh,
and I'm back.
No way. So give me an update. How many times has your cell phone dialed out to the radio station today?
This is 9 more times, so I got to 50.
50 times in one day. Actually, we start charging after 51. It's one of those hidden fees that we don't write in the contracts. But yeah, tell me what you've been thinking about the Atlanta Braves this year. You're a Brewers guy, so I know that you're not a Braves fan, but this is an opportunity for you to go see the Braves and the Blue Jays. Would you like to see them turn the corner and be playing good ball by the time that you go see them there? Well, you're not going to see them. Whoever's going to go see them, whoever ends up winning the trip here. But would you like to see the Braves turn the corner and play some good ball in September, or would you rather see them kind of stall out and your Brewers capitalize on that?
They're different divisions, but it's always fun to watch people play good ball. So I want to go see a good game. And the Brewers are still being first place in the Central.
Your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, since we were talking about wrestling for an hour today with Jimmy, with Monty, and Coach Brian Haddad. Give me your Mount Rushmore.
All right, this first one needs to be on the list, but I absolutely hate it. Vince McMahon, because wrestling would still be very territorial without him.
Woo!
Hogan.
Hogan, all right.
Flair. So I got Vince, Hogan, Flair.
Yep.
The fourth one is so hard.
Who's your favorite wrestler of all time? Put him there.
I have Hogan on there already.
Okay, all right. There you go.
No one said Randy Savage today.
Oh, wow, Randy Savage.
He was on my Facebook list.
He was on your Facebook list?
Yeah, when we talked through it on Facebook Live, you can scroll back up.
Most people associate him with Slim Jims now, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, brother.
But, yeah, I'll put him on there. He deserves it, too.
All right. Well, Chef Ross, you did get the qualifying prize. Oh, you actually got a really dope prize today. You got one of the coolest, I would say. It's a Mountain Dew camo hoodie, right?
It's a Mountain Dew camo jacket.
There you go.
Yeah, as this contest went on, the prizes just
hell yeah, man! It's 100 degrees outside. Nothing like a camo jacket, man, to win in June. Awesome. Woo!
Right now, it's not going to be able to be in use, but you hide that thing for a little bit, and just in a couple of months, it'll seem like a year, but in a couple of months, you'll be able to get to it.
Or if you got something else going on, you need to drop a few pounds, you can put it on, go jogging outside, and.
Or when you go up there to Wisconsin, it'll be a little colder at that point in time, so you should be all right?
I'll figure out some use for that jacket.
There you go. Well, Chef Ross, thanks as always for playing along with us, interacting with us, and you have been entered into the grand prize drawing. You're a final winner, and you've been trying for a long time.
Nice.
I have been. Thanks, guys.
All right, Chef Ross, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see coming up shortly who's going to end up being the winner of our 7-year send-off. Put those numbers in, and we'll see what we get. Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight. Now, the last time that there was a sweep in the NHL and the NBA Finals was 1995. That was the last time both leagues were swept in the finals. Would you like to see that this year?
Florida was there, too.
Yeah.
And they lost to Colorado.
Well, what Stanley Cup was it that we were talking about last night? It was the Dallas Stars, and it was Brett Hull's goal against the
Buffalo Sabres, 1999.
1999, man. And we didn't really get into an argument because I wasn't arguing for or against until I saw the video, and for a while it felt like his foot wasn't in the crease, and even then, me watching hockey these days is like, well, that's not an issue, but it was against the rules, and so if any of you have thoughts on the Dallas Stars Buffalo Sabres Stanley Cup from 1999, Brett Hull's foot was in that crease. It was double overtime, right?
Yep, and that was, to me, no goal. It should not have been a goal. The way they called that, the way they called goals that whole entire season and like the season or two prior to that shouldn't have been a goal. It was a total travesty. It was Game 6. A lot of people think that, hey, if Dallas loses that game, they still win Game 7 and they still get the championship. I don't think that way. I think anything's possible. So I think it was kind of like the league gifting Brett Hull a Stanley Cup in 99. He ended up winning again with Detroit, so it really didn't matter.
Do the Celtics sweep it out tonight?
Probably so, yeah. Unfortunately, it's not what the leagues want. It's not what the TV networks want, 2 sweeps. But I just don't see it with Dallas. I don't think they have enough talent rolling out there. Luka's been crying a bunch. He's been kind of hurt too, and it's not going to go well for him on that.
Yeah, Atlanta Braves again tonight, 6:20 first pitch, and the coverage starts right after the Afternoon Underdogs at 6 o'clock. Game 4 of the NBA Finals is at 7:30 tonight, and that's going to be Boston and Dallas. I mean, you're going to have a huge game from Luka. The defense is going to have to be 50% better than what it was in Game 3. I just think that Jaylen Brown, like Jason Tatum, still hasn't had a very good game. He's had really good games, but not like superstar, if you will. I think that Jaylen Brown is going to end up winning the NBA Finals MVP.
There's a lot of people out there that'll tell you he's better than Tatum on the team, and he's the best guy.
I think for me, it's them. You know what I mean? Like, they make the team, and I think that's a beautiful thing. It's not like how where with LeBron when you started getting 3 superstars on the team, right? And the league has tried to get it to where they've tried their best to get it to where you're only having 2 superstars on the squad. But when it was LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, even then you knew what the pecking order was, right? I think when you're in the most ideal situation, it's when there isn't a true one and true one
on a night-to-night basis. This guy needs to be the star tonight because of what he does well, and that's suits what we need to do in order to win this game because of the matchup that we got going on. That's kind of why I compared this Celtics team to kind of similar to that 04 like Pacers team where you didn't have a bunch of superstars or a couple of superstars. You just had like 5 guys that all like knew their role and did what they needed to do, like did their job, and because of that they were able to win.
What is it? Shut your role, or know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wrestling. And since we were talking about it so much today, I felt like we could ease that one in there. But I do think Boston ends up sweet. I want to see, just to see the series extend. I mean, it's just wild that we had, it's almost like the break in between the conference finals and the finals is going to be longer than what the actual finals were for both the NHL and the NBA. And very similar parallels here with the way that Boston is set up, kind of like Florida, where there's not, it's not really superstar driven as much as just a great team. Whereas with the Edmonton Oilers, it is superstar driven with McDavid, Draisaitl. You can go to Nugent Hopkins. I wouldn't say superstar there, but Bouchard.
Hyman, Zach Hyman's been like really well. So
there you go. And so that's kind of like Luka and Kyrie with the Dallas
Florida's
Mavericks.
got star power too. I mean,
and
they
so
got
does Boston.
Matthew Tkachuk. They got Sergei Bobrovsky. Obviously, like I said, he's really good. So.
But when you're looking at the numbers, like their statistics from, especially here in the playoffs, there's not a guy that like. Any given night, it could be one of the 5, it could be one of the 7, one of the top 12 skaters for Florida, or one of the top 3 forwards there for Boston. So.
That's what it takes to win. Like, to win a Stanley Cup, you can't just be top heavy. You can't have just 1 or 2 great lines. You have to be able to roll out 4 lines consistently every shift. And if you can do that, you're going to have really good chances of winning Stanley Cup.
Florida State and Tallahassee, they're going to be getting underway at 6 o'clock tonight. So not very long from then. But we have got our calculations from Bone Crusher, and what we've decided to do, and we're going to start here with Drew Gerhardt. Drew, what we're going to do is we're actually going to reach out to each and every one of our contestants, and we're going to let them know that they didn't win. So we're starting with you today, Drew.
Yeah, better be rather hear the bad news from us first.
Right?
Makes it easier to hear, right?
Drew, how you feeling about that?
Not too bad. No bad news today.
Hey, well, we're actually just kidding, and we are going to be sending you to Atlanta on September 7th on a Saturday to see the Braves take on the Blue Jays. That's coming with your hotel, with your spending cash, your food and beverage at the game, and some great seats at the Xfinity Club. Drew, now what's your excitement level feeling like?
All right. We're going to Atlanta.
There we go, man. Well, can't wait to hook you up with those tickets and to see some pictures from the game. And hopefully by that time, we're talking good news about the Atlanta Braves and not so down on it.
Yeah, maybe bad news for the Blue Jays. Maybe they'll be in the selling market, and maybe guys like Bo Bichette won't be there. Maybe he'll be a Brave.
There you
go. Or a guy like Vladimir Jr.,
That's awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, Drew. Well, you have a great rest of your weekend, and congratulations, and thanks for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, thank you.
All right. Yeah, Coach Old's texting in. Congratulations. But don't forget and don't fret.
We got more tickets.
Next week, what? Yeah, so the 20th, the 20th will be next Friday, so we can't be giving away anything on the 21st technically because that would be a Saturday, so it will be the 20th. So next Friday, I need y'all this whole next week, go study Atlanta Braves trivia, all right, because I'm going to dive deep into Braves trivia. We're going to go all the way back. We'll keep it in Atlanta. We'll keep it to Atlanta-based trivia, Atlanta Braves-based trivia, and whoever answers the most questions right, and I'm going to try to keep all of the questions in an order where it works from easiest to hardest, and if you get to 10, if we get one person who gets 10 in a row correctly, we're done with the game right there, and we're sending you to Atlanta at that point. But yeah, so we've got a game June 28th. They're going to be taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Next Friday, we will be playing Braves Trivia to give you another opportunity to win 4 tickets. It's not as fancy as the 7-year send-off because that is for our 7-year anniversary that we're actually going to be celebrating June 17th. And so with that, that contest is now over. Congratulations to Drew Gerhardt.
Yeah, Drew Gerhardt, man, way to go. Like you said, next week, more tickets, 4 tickets to get to a game for free nowadays. Nothing to sneeze at. You know, it's a pretty good opportunity to go out and enjoy some good baseball.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, combined point total tonight.
Combined point total.
I'm going to say 55.
I was going to say about 56. So
okay.
Yeah, right
all right.
there.
Then you want to put $1 on it and see who gets closer?
Yeah.
Since we're right there. All right. $1 on it then. All right. So we've got $1 now live betting right there. That's my type of live betting.
Right on.
Caveman rate. If it's 55 and under, I get it. If it's 56 and over,
I'll take
you get it. All right. There we go. Well, actually, it has to be without going over. That's the new stipulation to the...
Well, then you got to get yours right on there, buddy.
All right, man. But Florida State, Tallahassee, I don't know who the starting pitchers are. I believe that it's going to be Jamie Arnold going for Florida State. I don't know who's going for Tennessee tonight. This is a big game, man. You win that first one and your road is just a little bit more smooth in the College World Series.
We need to see a lot of games going into extra innings. That way there's more opportunity to get more Jello shots sold.
I think I predicted like the first 4 or 5 innings tonight are going to be very low scoring, and then it just explodes. 13-12 Florida State tonight.
I was going to say, unless like they have a restriction like by inning whatever, they stop selling like they do at Major League ballparks, and in which case that really is a moot point. It doesn't apply.
Oh, you're talking about for the Jello shots?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, I got you.
Because like I said, if they stop at like say the 6th inning or whatever, you know, then who cares if it goes to extras? Because it's not really going to matter. You can't get them anyway.
That's a good point. I wonder what that is, what that setup is like there. You know, for being Omaha, it's like a College World Series.
They need to lift that ban or whatever if they do, just for something like that alone. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for those of you who might be in or have been to Omaha, call in and let us know Monday, because we are out for the weekend. Caveman Rick, thanks so much for a great week. Bone Crusher, as always, thanks for all that you do. For all of our guests throughout the week, we appreciate it. Don't forget to go to ESPNPC.com, click on the Best of Bay voting, and go vote for us, the Afternoon Underdogs, the Coach James Hill Show, the Inside Drive. I really don't mind as long as it's a vote for ESPN Northwest Florida, and Sam Peebles is part of the family as well. You guys have been riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Coach James Hill Show back 7 a.m. on Monday. The Inside Drive back at 11. We're back at 4. Just remember, Jesus loves you, so do I. Y'all be safe. Have a great weekend.
Get your Jello shots.
He sure is a good friend.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Brock's Pest Control. Store more portable buildings, reliable hydraulic solutions. Billberg Kia and Mid-South Lumber.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. Clear tonight with a wind coming out of the northwest around 5 miles per hour and a low of 79. Tomorrow morning, look for sunshine with a temperature near 90. The afternoon and evening, a high around 91 and sunshine. Sunday, very warm with a high of 88 and mostly sunshine in the morning and then possible thunderstorms. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Your safety and proper care of your boat in an emergency is crucial. When it comes to on-water assistance, response time is everything. And since 1996, in the Bay or on the Gulf, it's Seato. Seato's Coast Guard licensed captains are on the scene in an average of 1 hour or less. Seato gets members home or back to boating faster. Become a member today at Seato.com or call 850-234-2323.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven. Powered by Panama's